إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أما بعد. Now, let's take the categories of asking other than Allah. First of all, a dead person. Asking the dead person is shirk. One who asks a dead person is mushrik. Under no condition do you ask the dead. That's shirk. And if the dead is in front of you, it's shirk. If the dead is in front of you, it's shirk. B, if the dead person is not present in front of you, meaning you're asking him at a distance, it's still shirk. Dua to him is belief that he has control over the world and he's dead, and that's shirk. Asking a dead is automatic shirk akbar, even if asking them is that which they could have done when they were alive. Now if he's alive, this is a dead person, it's very simple and easy. If he's alive, it's three scenarios if someone is alive and you ask him. If you ask a person alive, give me food, hand me that dish, give me water, that's permissible. It's before him. He has the means. The means are there. He has control over it. He has the abilities. Allah granted him the abilities. You know He granted them the abilities. So you can ask him. If he's before you and he can hear you and he has the abilities and means, you can ask him for what he's able to do. Hand me the water. Hand me your phone. Help me fix a house. Help me with my car. That is permissible. That's A, for a person who's alive. B, if what you ask him is beyond his power and abilities, like powers only Allah has, that's shirk akbar, even if he's present in front of you. Example, I go to a Shaykh, or someone goes to a Shaykh and tells that Shaykh, bring down the rain, or cure my ill. He's not a doctor, you believe he has spiritual powers, cure my ill. Or Shaykh, bless my wealth. This is shirk akbar. The third one, C, for the one living, if he is living, not present, you can't ask him what he can or can't do. That's like asking the dead. Now, we don't mean present as in right in front of you. If you ask someone on the computer or phone through means of communication, that's like as he's present in front of you. If you ask him on the computer, help you with a program or with some matter, that's permissible. What we mean is like someone is in Africa and you're in the United States and you tell them to give you a cup of water. He's not in front of you. There's no means of communication. He can't do, how's he going to give you a cup of water? That is improper. You can't do that. That's shirk. That's shirk. Why? Because even though it's in his power to give you a cup of water had he been present, in reality you gave him power of hearing that only belongs to Allah. I'm here. I say, Shaykh so and so in Africa, give me a cup of water. There's no internet, there's no phone, there's no nothing. How can he hear unless I gave him the power, the quality that only belongs to Allah, the all hearing. Now, let's take a mas'ala. Is asking jinn shirk? Is asking a jinn shirk? Now, first of all, if it's a jinn who can hear you, you can see him and he can hear you, that doesn't fall under shirk. Why? There's a story in Nasa'i, Ibn Hibban, and Bukhari mentioned it in Al-Tarikh Al-Kabir. No, it's not in Sahih Bukhari, in Al-Tarikh Al-Kabir. Ibn Hibban considered authentic. Ubay ibn Ka'ab radiallahu anh had a pile of dates somewhere stored, and he noticed it kept going missing. One night, he seen some type of creation. He resembled it to a younger boy. Ubay gave him salam, and the creation, like a boy, returned the salam. Ubay said, are you human or jinn? The boy said, I'm jinn. Ubay said, show me your hand. He showed him his hand, and it was like that of a dog, and it had the hair of a dog on it. Ubay said to him, why do you keep stealing from our dates? And the jinn replied back, he said, we heard you love to give charity, so we wanted to take so Allah can reward you. We wanted to take from that so Allah can reward. Ubay said, what keeps you away from us? And the jinn said, Ayatul Kursi is what puts a barrier between us. So he left. Ubay went to the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ said, Sadaq al-khabith, Sadaq al-khabith. Now asking the jinn what's in their ability. Ubay asked him, if you see him, and you ask him something like that, or you ask him for direction, that's not shirk. But it's a disputed fiqh matter if one can ask a jinn or not. That's if they're present and if you see them. It's not our topic, but it's a fiqh issue. The correct of two opinions is it's not permissible. There's no need to communicate with the jinn and ask him like that. But it's not a shirk. If he's present in front of you and you see him and you know he's there. Number B, if you ask a jinn what they can do, what only Allah can do, like cure me, that's shirk akbar. وَأَنَّهُ كَانَ رِجَالٌ مِنَ الْإِنسِ يَعُوذُونَ بِرِجَالٍ مِنَ الْجِنِّ فَزَادُوهُمْ رَهَقًا. Verily there were men, there were amongst the mankind, يَعُوذُونَ بِرِجَالٍ مِنَ الْجِنِّ فَزَادُوهُمْ وَأَنَّهُ كَانَ رِجَالٌ مِنَ الْإِنسِ يَعُوذُونَ بِرِجَالٍ مِنَ الْجِنِّ فَزَادُوهُمْ, who sought refuge in the males among the jinn. The jinn, the jinn increased them in their transgression. The jinn increased the human in their transgression. What's this verse? When the humans used to go to a valley or scary, lonely place in their journeys, they used to seek refuge not in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but in the jinn. That made the jinn get arrogant. The jinn felt superiority over the ins because they began to seek refuge in them. So what's the conclusion? What happened? Zaduhum rahaqa. The jinn increased the mankind, the ins, the humans, in transgression and in sin. Fazaduhum rahaqa. What it means is the jinn, seeing that the humans were afraid and sought refuge in them, so they began to scare more. As-Suddi rahimahullah said, a man used to travel with his family. And when he gets to an area to rest, he would say, I seek refuge in the master of this valley of the jinn, that he won't harm me or my wealth or my children or my cattle. That's what one used to say on his journey. That's what يَعُوذُونَ بِرِجَالٍ مِنَ الْجِنِّ. Qatada said when they used to do that, when they used to do this, seek refuge in the jinn would harm them more. زَادُوهُمْ رَهَقًا. Al-Thawri rahimahullah said it means when the jinn seen them seeking refuge in them and they were afraid of them, they became more bold towards them. زَادُوهُمْ رَهَقًا. Ikrimah said the jinn used to flee from humans like human used to flee from the jinn. They used to be scared of each other. Even the jinn were more scared of the human than the humans were of the jinn. But when humans went to the valleys and sought refuge in the jinn, first of all, the jinn used to flee. But the humans began to seek refuge in them. When they started to do that, the jinn said, they're more afraid than we are. They're more afraid of us than we are of them. So let's get closer to them. And that's when the jinn began to touch the humans with harm, like the mental things that they do and the hardship and inflictions that they do. Zayd ibn Aslam said, Rahaqa means when they sought refuge, when the humans sought refuge in the jinn began to scare them more. Ibn Abbas and Qatada said it's sins. Zaduhum raqa means they, by seeking refuge, when the humans began to seek refuge in the jinn, meaning they gained more sins. It caused the humans to gain more sins. Mujahid said rahaqa is tyranny, meaning the jinn became more tyrants and transgressed more over them. Listen to the story. Ibn Abi Sa'ib al-Ansari said, I went with my father outside of Medina when the Prophet ﷺ was first sent in Mecca, with the early days of the messagehood. We slept on the journey near a shepherd. There was a shepherd, he had some sheep. We said, let's sleep near this man. When it got dark, someone took the sheep away and ran off with it. Something took one of the sheep and ran away. The shepherd ran and said, "O holder, O guardian of this valley, I seek refuge in you. I seek refuge in you." The Bedouin is talking to the jinn. Ibn Abi Sa'id said, we heard a voice, but we didn't see from where it came or anything. He said, Sarhan, let it go. Let the sheep go. And the sheep returned unharmed. And then it was revealed, وَأَنَّهُ كَانَ رِجَالٌ مِنَ الْإِنسِ يَعُوذُونَ بِرِجَالٍ مِنَ الْجِنِّ. It may have been the jinn took the sheep. And when the Bedouins sought refuge in the master of the jinn, the master ordered the sheep be returned. Why? In order to lead him astray more, to give him more sins, to belittle him, make him a slave of his. And that happens. So that's the issue on the jinn.